Okay, well, this is the Karinna KSB18. Probably should call it the KSB40, shouldn't we? Because it's got a 40 channel switch in it. Obviously, Kmart here in Australia originally bought these out with an 18 channel switch in them, and they were widely distributed all around Australia. They certainly a great little radio. This one's actually got the original Karinna mic, excuse me, and I've had to rebuild it, but that's okay. It wasn't mine. It was just a just the element that was in trouble. And you'll find that as these radios are getting a little bit older, you're going to find that sometimes it'll be the mic cord, or it'll be an element that's giving you trouble. Just use your trusty multimeter and have a bit of a look. And obviously, we put a crow probe on the insert and went, yep, and magnetic little thing stuck on there. Anyway, so what are you looking for when you buy a KSB18? Number one, trying to get a front panel that's reasonably nice. Now, this was, up until recently, my cleanest KSB18 Karinna. And my many thanks to Mark at Icom, who absolutely floored me. We'll do a bit of a look at that one later when we do the demonstration display. But I actually do have another Karinna, which Mark was so lovely in sort of adding to the display bits here. And but generally they fail in the front panels. You'll find that they start to get pretty marked up, and I could probably show you examples of 3 or 4 we've got here that they vary from average to terrible as far as in their actual quality. Actually, let me show you just that. Okay, so it's probably worth the walk from my very beautiful, lovely, warm workshop back in the house out to the American barn. Gee, I'm almost puffing. No, that's terrible. Okay, but as you'll see, now here's a very bad example of how the weather gets to these fronts. And look, we've got to get some better ways to try and do these faceplates and to try and get them looking a little bit better, because like some of these here, are not too bad when you have a bit of a look. They start to suffer where the controls are used a fair bit. You'll see around these sort of areas here, they'll suffer. Where the switches have been used a fair bit, the on-off, etc. And, I mean, these two here could probably be made to look, passable. This here, unfortunately, you'd need to do a whole new faceplate for. And I noticed Paul Ashby's been doing some stuff that's really innovative. And as he points out, it's not economical to do it, but it's possible. And I think he's onto something there that... for some displays that we're looking at, the question was on Paul's site, or on Facebook, was, would you literally pay $100 to have that front looking perfect? And he's got a really good point. Now, the way he does it, to me, looks better than the gamma ray graphic way. I've been using gamma ray graphics for obviously a lot of the the US models, etc. And that's great, but it's still a compromise where I think what Paul's doing is a better result. So keep it up, Paul. Just got to find a way to be able to knock them out and find that price point. But certainly that looks good. Okay, so pretty much that's where the KSB18s have really had a bit of trouble. This one here, someone went with putting a chrome wrap on it. Look, anyway. And as you know, look, we've got an excess of... We're going to be having to get rid of these excess of radios. They're just everywhere at the moment. And don't mind me being a bit out of breath. I'm still just recovering a bit over some stuff that's been going on. But anyway, we'll get there. So we've got a lot to clear through this whole area. We want to try and get these shelves emptied over the next few months, and get back to some sort of normality. I mean, why do we need this many PC122s? Anyway, loads of DACs, and anyway, we'll get to that. Right, let's head back inside. That's a quick look at just the status of how your Karinna can look good versus bad. Average versus bad. I think that's more it. Okay, so I thought I would just duck out into what is the display room, just slowly but surely coming together. But it is important to show you, excuse me, just some of the different calibers of the fronts. Now, interesting, this is from Mark at Icom. Notice how they actually did put the KSB40 sticker on there when they. So this would have come originally as a 40. And once again, look, I'm not trying to claim that the front's perfect on this, but it is, and we haven't done a cleanup yet. This is pretty much as Mark's pulled it out of the storage of 20 years. That's how it's come up. So we'll go through and give this a good cleanup. Mark was apologising for the fact that he'd back in the 80s put the signalizer on it, but that was actually a really common thing, and we're going to leave that there because we'll put on a bracket and just have it sort of sitting up and looking quite nice. But overall, look, this is the cleanest one that we've got. It's very nice actually. Now, not perfect, I know. It's I mean, when you look through some of the fronts we've got on older radios, some of them are, getting closer to perfect, and certainly, very nice fronts on some of them that, you can sort of see the quality of just, how they've been kept in that. But, you're not going to get that every time. Some of these Apollos, they've still got little marks and the Citizens and little things here and there. Anyway, okay, so let's go back out, inside, back to the little workshop line. As you can see, we've got all the new 6-tier metal shelving units all here that have got to be put together. They've been here for 2 weeks. We'll get to them. Okay, back to the workshop. Okay, so back into the mess again. Let's have a bit of a look. On channel 35, let's put a little bit of signal into it. That's more than a little bit. What are we putting in there? 15.8. Let's take that down. Hearing beautifully at 0.5 a microvolt, so that's very good. Very, very happy with that. And what are we at there? A 7. Near enough to 50 microvolts S9. Okay, so we're pretty happy with that. So let's just give a little bit of a transmit test. 1, 2. Hello, hello, hello. Hola, hello, hello, hello. Okay, so we're not on a PP meter there. We're just on an average. What have we got? 3.7 watts. So I'll just give that a little quick tune just for the hell of it, because we can. Okay, very quick sort of overview, and most you people out there know Cybernet chassis like the back of your hand. Very common one was R37 was cut here that was to just allow a little bit more power. ALC back here on RV2, and we've just sort of cranked that up, which will just bring the average up a little bit further. Generally go through, peak your RF stages, etc. Really, it's a very easy setup. Be a bit cautious in this area here. What do I want that? I want this one. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Often when you're broadbanding, setting up the VCO, then broadbanding, you certainly can use these. But generally on a 40 channel with no modifications, which all these switches do exactly what they should. None of them have extra channels, etc. But of course, that's what people used to do. The standard VCO used to give you, probably a meg coverage or so. Some of the Razer ones, etc., give you a couple of meg, etc., and probably a bit more actually. But that's not something I really get into. But look, this is a really nice clean chassis. No signs of anybody that's been into it causing any great grief. So yeah, I think we're pretty happy, and we've just sort of got that peak. I didn't want to get so much more power out of it. I just wanted to. That's the other thing I wanted to do while I'm here, is just wanted to knock that AM power up just a tad, not much, just a tad. Hang about. I'm doing this sort of a bit one-handed because I've got the camera in the other hand. Let's have a look here. Now we'll probably find out we've just gone down in power, have we? 4.72. That'll do it. A little bit over. We'll knock that back in a second. But yeah, great radios. Okay, a couple of things. A lot of people ask, what's the DX local all about? Really, all it is an attenuator. So basically, when you're in local position, you're attenuating. So if you've got someone who's extremely strong around the corner from you, you can just attenuate their signal and obviously knock out any distortion. CBPA, which is, as you would expect, makes the PA function. Noise blanket, ANL as such. So very standard radio, and the fact that nobody's done anything to it, no tracks are cut or anything, I think that's, these days, when you're getting to something that's 30, 40 years old, amazing that nobody's got to this one. But anyway, nice example. All right, well, that's a quick look at the Karinna and the various stages of the Karinnas and how good or bad they can be. Certainly, between the two that we've got here, the KSB18 and the KSB, where they've changed the sticker to the 40, it is nice to have both. I mean, obviously being a little bit finicky, worrying about having both, but anyway. But certainly they're a nice Cybernet chassis. As I said, getting a little bit harder to find these days. So if you do get your hands onto one, hang on to it. It's a great keepsake. Love the old checkered flag Karinna mics. Really good. And that's another thing too. Mics extremely hard to find. But anyway. I'm actually helping a mate of mine out at the moment, and you know who you are, and that situation will be sorted out for you in the next 24 hours and on its way to you, so a little surprise for you too. Anyway, you know who you are. Alright, there we go, back to no attenuation with the DX position, and there we go, and yeah, beautiful. Alright, the Karinna KSB18, bit of history. 73s, all the best, and please subscribe and hit the like button, all that sort of stuff. We're starting to sort of get back into getting a few more videos done, so if you can inspire me with hitting subscribe, well, hey, that'd be fantastic. We'll try and get a few more done too. Cheers.